So far we've cut pretty large pieces of material, and they allow us to use our hands and safely push the material through. In fact, the best push stick we've got is our hand. It allows us the greatest amount of control. It allows you to put your hand down on the surface and put a little twist, allowing you to keep things tight to the fence and advance the material through. Notice I don't hook my thumb all the way back, but it's right here on the edge. It allows me to push it through and be under control at all times. Eventually, most of our cuts over time are going to be much smaller than this. And the closer we get to our guard, the more restricted we are in here, and eventually we reach the point where between the guard and the fence, my hand doesn't fit very safely. 3 inches is kind of what we use as a rule here at the school. Once we've reached that 3-inch point, and I can't push my hand through here safely, I still need to control that material all the way through the cut. And that's when we're going to use a push stick. Now push sticks, you can get the manufactured type, which come in all kinds of varieties and shapes, or you can get the shop-made type. And we've got all kinds of sizes and shapes for that also. All of these push sticks are designed to be sacrificial. They're the ones that are going to be next to the blade, and should they get cut, that's exactly what they should be doing rather than you. So when we're using a push stick, don't be concerned about nicking or cutting into them. That's their purpose rather than you. The manufactured ones have got some pluses and minuses. One, they're nice and rigid. They're well designed in the fact that it's a nice smooth flat surface with a hook on the back. That's great. But this one has a handle in it. We have a great habit of putting our hands right inside of here. Should something occur that would allow that material to get kicked back towards us, there's a danger that's going to bring our hand along with it. That's not what we want. So if you're going to use a push stick like this, grab it from the sides. Don't grab it like this. That's for carrying it around. This they call a push stick. This they call a push stick. The problem with these, and it'll become pretty obvious here, is that when your material is brought into the saw, we have this fear, and so we want to get our push stick and put it out here on the end of the board. This is the only place this one works. The problem with this is I have very little lateral control, and the tendency is to push down here. When you use a push stick, the first rule of thumb is this. I feed my material in, and I don't use a push stick until I can see cast iron back here. Prior to that, the push stick is more of a hindrance than an advantage. A small push stick like this, the biggest problem is it's so small that I get my hands right next to the blade again. And so it has no advantage to me to push the material through with this. If I'm going to put my hands that close, I've gained nothing. Shop-made tools are great. First of all, we've all got scrap. And maybe I should call them valuable offcuts rather than scrap. Because there's a great value to these push sticks. One, they're very sacrificial. They allow us to run right over the top of the blade. And with a riving knife, you can do that very easily. That allows us to control both the piece we want and the offcut also. The big advantage to these shop-made ones, narrow or wide, is it allows us to put the hook on the back and hold our material down. A lot of times we're cutting narrow or thin pieces, and a big part of control is maintaining contact with the table along with the fence. So a push stick like this allows me to put it down on top of the surface, maintaining control all the way through. When you have a riving knife, the beauty of it is you can keep that in place and the push stick can go right through on top of the blade. So that allows me to maintain contact all the way through both pieces of material. I don't even have to worry about the offcut. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to make a small cut much smaller than the guard will allow me to use. Blade height is good. Actually, you can use a little bit less. I'm going to make sure that my push stick is ready to go. It's sitting right here. But I don't pick that up until I can see cast iron on the back side. So let's go through that motion. There's the advantage of the riving knife, a broad push stick, purely sacrificial. It allows me to put both pieces through the cut without ever